I have a niece that lives next door to her dad, my brother. You know, one house and the next house is hers. And one Saturday morning, she and her husband decided, you know, our kitchen needs to be refurbished, restored, redone, you know. So they started destructing it, you know, taking it apart. And that evening, you know, it's pretty well destroyed. They can't use the kitchen. And they realize that they've got a problem. So they take their 2 kids under 5, dog and a couple of cats, and just move into my brother's house. And my brother had planned a nice, quiet evening with his wife, maybe a little shot of scotch or something like that. But his plans were completely turned over, you know, and not at all what he had planned for that quiet Saturday evening. And so he just welcomed everybody with open arms, and they also brought toys with them. So he cleared out a room so that the little ones could play with their toys, and so they moved in with him. And then about 6 weeks later, just as fast as they came in, they went out. Their kitchen was done, and they were done. And so a lot of surprises come into our life that we're not expecting. And today's readings show us great examples of how to handle major chapter changes in our life or major surprises in our life. How should we respond to those? Now, Solomon responded by going straight to God. He's young. He now has the burden of the kingship. He's got more people to govern than he knows what to do with. And so he goes to this place called Gilboa. And Gilboa is this cool place. It's just like Jerusalem is on a hill. 5 miles away is Gilboa. It's called like the city of hills or something like that, or city built on hills. And so you can see one from the other. And that's where they made their sacrifices, on this Gilboa. And so he makes 1,000 sacrifices. Unbelievable. I mean, it's a lot. He wants to, you know, get God's attention and show his sincerity. And so at evening, at night, God appears to him in a dream and asks him, well, what do you want? And he says, I want to be able to discern. I want an understanding heart so I can choose between what is right and what is wrong, so he can govern his people. God's really impressed with his request and gives him the gift that he asked for and a lot more. And then in our gospel, the apostles are coming back 2 by 2 from their first missionary journey. God had sent them out with his authority. Jesus had sent them out with his authority. And so they had cured a lot of sick people, they had cast out demons, and they had huge crowds following them. And so when they gather back on, you know, the Lake of Galilee, you know, all that crowd is there. It's so intense and pushed down, they couldn't even eat. So come up with a plan, let's hop in a boat, go to a deserted place in the lake, and then we'll have a little R&R, a little rest and relaxation, and we'll recover from this missionary journey. So they do that. But the Lake of Galilee is not really that big. And, you know, you can see where the boat's going. And so the crowds from different towns, they just went where Jesus was going, this deserted place. They knew where he was headed. And so he disembarks from the boat. He's ready for a little R&R, and he looks up, and there's a vast crowd. He realizes that God's will for him was different than his own will. And he immediately changes gears. He rolls up his sleeves, and he starts ministering to them. Now, we have lots of disruptions in our lives. Kids get sick, grandkids get sick, friends have some sort of emergency we have to help out for, like if you have a pickup truck. And then other sorts of things too, you know, like you have, washing machine breaks or whatever. All these things happen to us. Our life is just filled with disruptions. And so today when we have disruptions or major changes in the chapters of our lives like Solomon had, we need to go to God. We have to ask him to help us discern what we need to do. We need to ask him for the gifts that we need to get through whatever this situation is. And then roll up our sleeves like Jesus did and go to work. confident that Jesus is going to give you all the strength, all the gifts you need to get through the situation.